Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Are you up to everybody?
Pranam, Swamiji.
Pranam, pranam. Everybody can hear now?
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. So now.
Swamiji, sharing has stopped.
The
sharing is not visible anymore.
Sharing is not visible.
Not anymore.
No, 1 minute.
Now it is visible.
Now it's okay.
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. So now on the day for yesterday in Chennai, during our SATSANG, the prompting came to share some words of Papa on inward journey. The most important thing is, as we keep on, a small book has been brought out under the title In the Inward Journey. Papa gives a lot of importance for going in. Otherwise, we may be still floating on the surface. So we will read a few lines and then try to connect up our Mauna sessions with it. Man's quest for happiness can end only by his realizing the fountain of eternal joy residing within one himself. The sooner you realize, the better for you. Repeat the name as a means to that end. You must still the mind and be free from the sense of duality. Know that you and the God you worship are one and the same. Transcend name, form and duality. There is then no otherness for you. Fear leaves you. Consciousness of self dawns in you. And you are liberated from the clutches of desire and ignorance, from the clutches of bondage, misery, pain and sorrow. This is the goal you have to reach. Then you must dive deep and realize the self. We cannot define truth, which is unthinkable, indescribable, undefinable. From the thought plane, we cannot realize it. Truth is silence. The best way you can express the truth is by means of silence. So why is he driving us towards the Mauna session? Now we should all be thinking about it. Because we have been doing for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, so many outer practices. But when we check up for ourselves, whether we have started feeling his presence within, even at least for a twice, for a short time, then we come to know that it is still a concept in our mind, not a reality. So how do we do that? That is why he is now slowly prompting us to take to inward journey. And to effectively make use of the inward journey, what do we do? So these are some of the words. Be a witness to all movements. Detach yourself from them and become the observer of them. Then you will realize that you are the eternal witness and the body is not yourself. Identification with the body will go, witness consciousness will be attained. Mostly you can practice it when you are in meditation. When you are active and moving about, it is difficult to maintain that consciousness. Many rules have to be observed for control of mind. Observance of silence is one of them. Who is observing silence? Let us try to find out. Sit silent, detach yourself from the mind, and watch its activities. The watcher is the real you, the self-immortal. So we pass on. Like that, there are so many. Now, let us try to come to this. Go on repeating Ram Nam continuously without any break. The method of approach through sound has been found to be the easiest. As soon as the mind is absorbed in Nama chanting, we rise higher into a state of superconsciousness, where there is absolute soundlessness. The sound that you hear, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Please listen carefully. Papa here wants us to understand. The sound that you hear is what comes out of that infinite silence. When we repeat the mantra aloud, we tune ourselves to the sound produced by it. The next word is very important. Through the sound, we enter into the perfect stillness within us. So the sound must possess us. The sound is the first movement of the motionless. Now, in between we are stopping, What is that base? Silence. When elsewhere Papa said, Brahman is silence. Brahman does not require silence. It is always silent. These are the words of Papa. God is silent. So when we heard that properly, many of us would have thought that when we don't speak, that is called silence. True, it is that, but a little more deeper. Now, Om Shri Ram. There is an interval between Om and Shri Ram. No? What is that? We cannot explain, but we can understand. That is all-pervading. One devotee asked in Chennai, is that what Papa meant by great void? Yes. In the first book, In Quest of God, when Papa was explaining about the then hit state of affairs, that he was passing through a stressful period, and he cried, where is rest, where is peace? That was the heart's cry of Ramdas. And so then the prayer was heard from the great void. Answer came, trust me. What is that great void now? So now with this particular line, we will again read, kindly think about it. It might give us some clues. So that from the outer chanting, we try to go to the inner realm. The sound that you hear is what comes out of that infinite silence. When we repeat the mantra aloud, we tune ourselves to the sound produced by it. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So when we chant aloud, we tune ourselves to the sound produced by it. And then what happens? Through the sound, we enter into the perfect stillness within us. Mataji named this as Kalisuru. So whenever we are in a position to chant, and when we try to hear our own chanting, this also should come up along with it. But it is coming from the silence, Silence is He. By silence, let us not think that it is an inert phenomena. No. Here the word silence stands for bliss absolute, consciousness absolute, peace absolute, wisdom absolute, potentiality absolute. So to identify, through the sound only we can go to the soundlessness. Just like when now you are all seeing the wordings, in the small book, Inward Journey. You are only seeing the letters. There is a white background behind it. Our mind concentrates only on the letters. But the letters are available to us because of the white space behind it. So silence stands for that white space, sound stands for the letters. So this is the base. We are slowly trying to understand what Papa meant by this. You remember, Papa was telling that ceaseless chanting side by side with meditation made him absolutely established even before he stepped out on 27th December. So within 2 years. We have been chanting for now 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. So where we have to do this adjustment? In his case, it was exclusive. In our case, it is part-time. Agreed. In his case, he was clear about the goal to be scaled. We are not clear about the goal to be scaled. So now we have before us chanting, we are all used to it, we enjoy it. Now behind the chanting there is silence, That also we have to slowly concentrate now. We read the letters, but along with that we also try to understand the whiteness behind it. We hear the sound, we also understand the sound comes from the soundlessness. So during our morning 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever we are prompted to, we will try to get a glimpse of that process. glimpse of the presence of the in the form of silence. Then that will definitely enable us to understand what the silence stands for. Because everything has come from that. Intelligence has come from that. So sound is the first. Sound is the first manifestation. So through the sound, that is why he specifically says this. Go on repeating Ram Nam continuously without any break. The method of approach through sound has been found to be the easiest. As soon as the mind is absorbed in it, we rise higher into a state of superconsciousness where there is absolute soundlessness. The sound that you hear is what comes out of that infinite silence. When we repeat the mantra aloud, we tune ourselves to the sound produced by it, and through the sound, we enter into the perfect stillness within us. So the sound must possess us. Sound is the first movement of the motionless. Anybody would like to say anything?
Swami, the happiness that we get by chanting is not there where we are keeping in silence, Swamiji.
But do you think that happiness is it stays with us?
And continuously, if you practice, but there is a pressure in chanting. If happiness is there, that we know, sir.
Initially, what we call as happiness, we are now asking whether it stays with us. We have been telling this, we are happy when we are chanting.
Yes, sir.
But
sometimes we forget our body also and start jumping and because of the
all those things are there. But what we want is to feel his presence inside, The other one is an emotional level exposition. Initially okay, but now we want. Even now when we talk, we should be able to feel his presence.
With us.
Otherwise, what is the use? Just like when we see a movie, when we go to a master, we get joy. When you see him, we joy. So what? Initially it may help. But as soon as we move away from that scene, we are back to square one.
That is exactly.
So now we are thinking the me and mine is still dominant in us. The more me and mine is dominant, that means we have not given space to him. So the more me and mine has to step down, then only the sanity, the presence of him will be felt. So now we are checking up with all our Ramnam chanting, with all our external disciplines. Though we say we get joy, those days have gone. Now we are asking ourselves whether we have been able to feel his presence. So that is why we must also think that 2 years, 1920 to 1922, Papa simultaneously developed this. The word is exactly ceaseless chanting of names side by side with, not after some time. That is why he could express it in this form. He said, through the sound we enter into the perfect stillness within us. So that means both the white letters, the letters as well as the white background, both are available now. The sound as well as the silence is Both are recognized. And the moment we recognize the silent within us, we taste his presence. So our Mauna session should enable us to get as much nearer to this truth. Now there is no external sound. We are chanting. Mentally we are chanting. Then we realize that through the sound we have to enter into the stillness within us. If the mental chanting is not there, the mind may not try to go with it. It may again try to go out. The method of approach through sound has been found to be the easiest. As soon as the mind is absorbed in it, we rise higher into a state of superconsciousness, where there is absolute soundlessness. The sound that you produce, that you hear, is what comes out of that infinite silence. Now this you have to keep on. That infinite silence, great void. So it gives a lot of importance to feel the stillness. The next line, when Ram Nam is repeated mentally, the mind becomes gradually still. And the repetition stops when the mind is perfectly still. It does not remain still for a long time. At the moment it is disturbed, repetition of Ram Nam starts again. The effort now is to lengthen the period of the stillness. That is, from the time Ram Nam stopped till it started again. By constant practice, the duration of the stillness is increased until at last it becomes permanent. Papa is actually demonstrating before us now how from the outer chanting to the inner chanting, and how from the inner chanting to the stillness. When Ram Nam is chanted mentally, now itself we should try that. The mind becomes gradually still. And the repetition stops when the mind is perfectly still. It does not remain still for a long time. And the moment it is disturbed, we start the repetition. The effort now is to lengthen the period of the stillness. That means we take to mental chanting. Mental chanting slowly stops. We get a glimpse. Immediately the mind comes out with another thought. We again try to mentally chant. Again it slowly slows down. So this is the methodology he used. And he is placing it before us. Because we are not merely satisfied with whatever we are doing, because we have not still had the glimpse of his presence within. Please think about it. About silence, let us hear what he says. How cooling is silence? Talk is like the surging sea. Silence is like the surface of still waters. Silence settles down the disturbed mind to its native calmness. Peace is silence. Love is silence. The great truth is silence. T capital. Silence is the cause of all birth. From silence evolves out the varied universe. Silence is the beginning and the end of all things. And Papa, in one of his ecstatic moments, he has recorded this. I sit silent, wonderstruck as it were, at seeing myself everywhere. It is silence in the depth of my being, pervading all my manifest life. Verily, silence is Brahman. It alone exists. Sounds are modulations of silence. So, Brahmic experience, all our outer activities will be helpful only to some extent. And we don't think that we should remain there in that period, no. When we try to practice this, we will be active in all fields, but at the same time, well rooted in this silence, well rooted in this substratum. So these two, all of you may kindly, those of you who have this book, those who don't have the book, you can contact Ashram. They will send you the soft copy. How cooling is silence? So through the silence, he wanted us to, through the sound, we try to experience the stillness of the silence. Then he explains about silence. And silence is not a thing we have to get it from outside. In between the words we talk, there is the silence. So how close is he now? And the silence is like the surface of still waters. Silence settles down the disturbed mind to its native calmness. Peace is silence. Love is silence. The great truth is silence. Silence is the cause of all birth. From silence evolves out the varied universe. Silence is the beginning and the end of all things. So now slowly, the sadhana is, Papa is putting it such a way, it zeroes to this. our chanting and becoming aware of the soundlessness, to feel its presence. Me as a Bhakta, we strive to feel the presence of the Bhagavan. And me, the Bhakta, is full of thoughts. He, the Bhagavan, is full of silence. And now he is slowly holding our hand and taking us to the summit. You take to chanting, then mental chanting, then try to feel. When you become one with the chanting, you are transported to a higher realm where there is soundlessness. Through the sound, we try to experience the stillness within us. And that silence is not the silence normally we understand literally. That silence is peace, that silence is love, that silence is the great truth, that the silence is the cause of all birth. Silence is it is the one thing from which the entire thing has come out. Silence is the beginning and end of all things. So our outer chanting should enable us to get more and more become one with the chanting. That means the mind may go here and there even while vocal chanting is going on. So we slowly train our mind to get mental chanting. Then we try to witness the chanting. That is what is called silence. We try to separate the silence from the sound. And then see that the sound comes from the silence. So every day, 1 minute or 2 minutes, as soon as we get up, we can try this. We are slowly moving toward the goal. So when we say that He is with us, He has been with us, we might be able to understand how He is with us, in what form He is with us. Go still deeper into the realm of utter silence and stillness of your higher self or spirit, and rise completely above the body. Come out of the stage, and for you, the world outside will now stand, transformed as the very expression or manifestation of God. Everywhere the light of God will dazzle your eyes. Even in the apparent diversity and activity of nature, you will strangely be conscious of an all-pervading stillness and peace of the eternal, a consciousness which is unshakably permanent. Many of you who have gone through Guru's grace, they will know that when Mataji was initiated into this process in Kasaragod Ashram, though initially she found it difficult, she said, I feel sleepy. And later on, when she was slowly getting into that, a stage came when Papa reported that she was there for 3 to 4 hours. and then she refused to come out of it. Then Papa cautioned her, then it will not be an all-comprehensive experience. So to feel the silence within and to come out of it and see the manifestation based on that silence. That is the only, that is the way we have. That's what he says. Go still deeper into the realm of utter silence and stillness of your higher self or spirit and rise completely above the body. Come out of this state. And for you, the world outside will now stand transformed as the very expression or manifestation of God. So let us not think that, we have to leave everything. No. We are there where we are. We continue to function as a grihastha, as an employee, as a social being. We are not running away from any field, but we try to get an exact picture of ourselves, the inner content of ourselves. And that power wanted us to function as a human being, as a grihastha, as a professional being, as a social being. Previously, we were not bringing this dimension. We thought everything starts from us only. We have decided, we are planning, we do this, okay. But now, one more dimension becomes. That is why Papa could say, when Shuddhanandaji as a child asked, what is his will now? He could immediately, spontaneously say that his will is that Ramdas will get up now, go to the carpenter shed, attend to the work and come back to the Panchavadi, sit there and for the next meal. That means every moment, What does it mean? Every moment of our life comes from the silence. There is nobody to own the thought, nobody to possess the thought. So the doership, the enjoyership, the sufferership is not there. So we as sadhakas now, we will try to keep this in our mind. Not that we are changing anything. When people pestered Papa that you should give us this enlightenment in the bhajan hall, he said, yes, Ramdas is ready now to give. Who is prepared to take? And he put the only condition is drop everything. What does it mean? Nobody will be able to drop the body, mind, intellect. But he only said the ownership. So immediately my mind will never allow me to disown. So that is why Papa repeated and he said, yes, 3 minutes. And after 3 minutes he said the offer is withdrawn. Please think about it. We have been reading all these things. The time has now come for us to somehow have this, because we are all honestly feeling, we have been associated with the ashram for so many years. Our ultimate idea is not to feel happy about the present way of things. Our ultimate idea is Papa has shown the way by his very life and we have to reach that stage. A stage where we become conscious of his presence every moment of our life. Nobody needs to know about it. So for that he has given us all these wonderful clues. And he now offers us an opportunity to go through it intensely. He must have been watching. And that is why he is now slowly initiating us into the inward journey in right earnest. So during the inward journey, to ensure that it also does not become a routine. He is now making us to intensely contemplate on the experiences he had. These are all that. I sit silent, wonderstruck as it were, at seeing myself everywhere. It is silence in the depths of my being, pervading all my manifest life. Verily, silence is Brahman. It alone exists. Sounds are modulations of silence. And Shivanji Maharaj, so many things we have called out, in the small books, a few. Mysterious is this silence. To go into silence is to become God. Enter into silence. Know the silence. Enjoy the magnanimous silence. Become silence itself. Realize God now and here. When the mind is silent, the powers of your inner life reveal themselves. Then you maintain unruffled harmony in the midst of the so-called external conflicts and disturbances. The secret is to let the mind sink into your soul and lose itself. Since the mind disappears and you are established in consciousness, you are always happy, calm, serene. These are his Papa's quotations. When the mind is silent, the powers of your inner life reveal themselves. Then you maintain unruffled harmony in the midst of the so-called external conflicts and disturbances. The secret is to let the mind sink into your soul and lose itself. Since the mind disappears and you are established in the consciousness, you are always happy, calm, serene. So we can keep all these things as ideal before us and strive in our own way, whatever. There may be limitations. Each one's equipment is different from other. So we have to keep on trying, trying and find out a path suitable for us. This is how he scaled the heights. He was also like all of us, He did not come straight from the sky. He was born to a parent. He went through all those things in the 38th year, like all of us, ups and downs. And then the transformation started. How did the transformation start? So we are trying to go through that. So instead of silence, Mataji used the word Kaliswarup. So those of you who have this inward journey, kindly go through this as we give small sentences called out from various books. Initially, it may not be possible for us to understand, but now that we have done for years together chanting, and we all feel the if there is insufficiency in our sadhana. Insufficiency in the sense, we still feel he is outside. Even for a split second, we are unable to declare he is within us. And Papa wants us, every one of us, to do that, to feel his presence. That is why he said at the time of inauguration of the ashram, that the ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity in everybody. Vision of divinity in everybody. How do I get the vision of divinity? So we start asking these questions. And then slowly he takes us along with chanting. Chanting one hand, the other hand should be on this. Not merely chanting. Not merely the other hand. And watching ourselves whether the dominance of me and mine is reducing. Because if it is not reducing, God's presence will not be felt. 100%. We have not given space for him to stay, mind space. When me and mine is fully occupying our mind, we are not giving space. So that is why he said, Nam Seva Dhyan. So all our outer activities should be, his own words are, outer activities should be compatible with inner aspiration. Inner aspiration is to remember him. So whatever I do, whatever I talk, whatever I think, it should be helpful for me to realize his presence. So before we close, we will go through the words again and again. Go on repeating Ram Nam continuously without any break. The method of approach through sound has been found to be the easiest. As soon as the mind is absorbed in the sound, we rise higher, where there is absolute soundlessness. This we have to keep on praying to him. I'm chanting, but I have not tasted the soundlessness. The sound that you hear is what comes out of that infinite silence. When we repeat the mantra aloud, we tune ourselves to the sound produced by it, and through the sound, we enter into the perfect stillness within us. Please think over. When we practice this, we will come to know even any sound, whatever we are talking, including what we are talking now. Any sound, it comes from the soundlessness. Any thought that comes out comes because of the base where there are no thoughts. That is our base, core of our being. So that is why he is with us, he has been with us. Whether we know him or not, whether we appreciate him or not, Whether we recognize him or not, whether we worship him or not, he has not left us. That is why in the past quoted words of Papa, God does not need any intermediate. If you think Ramdas can talk to Ram, you can as well do it. Because you cannot accuse him of partiality. Switch on your wire for direct communication. Why do you deny him in your heart? Please again think about that word. Switch on your wire for direct communication. Why do you deny him in your heart? So the moment we are searching him outside, we know that we are denying him in our heart. So it is high time we all start thinking this. The sound that you hear is what comes out of the infinite silence. When we repeat the mantra aloud, we tune ourselves to the sound produced by it, and through the sound, we enter into the perfect stillness within us. When Ramnam is repeated mentally, the mind becomes gradually still, and the repetition stops when the mind is perfectly still. It does not remain still for a long time, and the moment it is disturbed, the repetition of Ramnam starts again. The effort now is to lengthen the period of the stillness. That is, from the time Ramnam stopped till it started again. Now we stop, and do or talk. There is a gap. There is silence there. Are we becoming aware of it? By constant practice, the duration of the stillness is increased until at last it becomes permanent. And about silence, how cooling is silence? Talk is like the surging sea. Silence is like the surface of still waters. Silence settles down the disturbed mind to its native calmness. Peace is silence. Love is silence. The great truth is silence. Silence is the cause of all birth. From silence evolves out the varied universe. Silence is the beginning and the end of all things. In order that none of us get stuck to the expression silence, Papa is giving us all these things. Because it cannot be directly explained. So through the knowable methods, he tries to take us as much nearer to the goal and leaves us to develop our own method to experience it. Peace is silence. So what have you understood about the peace? Love is silence. The great truth is silence. Silence is the cause of all birth. From silence evolves out the varied universe. Silence is the beginning and the end of all things. And with that, Swami Shivanji Maharaj words also will try to understand. Mysterious is this silence. To go into silence is to become God. Enter into silence. Know the silence. Enjoy the magnanimous silence. Become silence itself. Realize God now and here. So to say, repeat this utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. In the stillness it is that you know and realize God. Bhajan, Kirtan, Namasmaran are all means to that end. You have to repeat, chant or sing the name, no doubt, for a certain period. After that, repetition must cease and mind must become perfectly still. In that stillness, duality is transcended. The repeated and the repeated, the devotee and God become one. So, Puja Mataji named it as Kali Swarup. Puja Swamiji named it as consciousness. So let us all try in our own way. Each one is unique. Therefore, each one's path also has to be unique. But to a very great extent, the masters have revealed their experiences. It might enable us to cut out a path for ourselves. And depending upon our earnestness and sincerity, we have been promised that the way will be thrown open before us. So let us all try our level best. Pray to Him deep within. This much you have made us aware intellectually, and we have faith in your words. But still you are a distant reality for us. You are still a concept. You have not made us feel that you are within. Kindly enable us to do so. We want to reach that stage. At least you give us some glimpses. Then we will slowly try to get it strengthened. So, as soon as we get up, if we have time for 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, let all these well up in our mind. The mind will be fresh. Chant Ram Nam mentally for 5 times or 6 times or 10 times. And then we try this prayer, try to feel His presence, and see for ourselves how He opens up. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. We are now in Mumbai. Tomorrow night we will be leaving for South Africa.
Swamiji, switch on the video, please. Switch on the video, they want to see you.
They can't see you, Swamiji.
Video.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Sorry, I got Day after tomorrow, at what time we will be landing, we have no idea. And there is a lot of difference between our timing and their timing. So we will try, if it coincides with this timing, and if the Wi-Fi connection is there, we will try to meet you all. Otherwise, next day, we will inform. Okay. plural.
On and off.
Yeah, but off are the